Hey everybody, this is Scott from Big Hit Guitars, and I'm sitting here with Richard Shepard, who is our good friend. And Richard, or Shep as we call him, and everyone calls him, has been instructing me as my guitar guide through learning. Even after 30 years, I still need instruction. In fact, I think I probably need instruction more so now than ever.
We study together.
We study together, absolutely. Yeah, you've made that, and you've said that.
Both students.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I learn from you.
Yeah.
You teach me how to communicate and to convey, and you also teach me things about guitar that I wasn't aware of in the journey.
Sure. Before we started recording, you mentioned three things, which you said you didn't invent, but are the sort of essential building blocks, if you will, of your guitar journey, really anything that you're looking to learn. And it starts with?
Well, curiosity and process, and then result.
Curiosity, process, and result.
The first time I heard Roy Nichols or Joe Mapes, saw Joe Mapes on Hootenanny when I was a kid, and heard Roy Nichols in Merle Haggard's band. It was just like a lightning bolt.
Sure.
It's like that thing. What is that? What is that? That's really cool. That's really interesting. That makes me feel empowered when I listen to it. It makes me feel enlivened when I listen to that. And then playing it on the guitar, it's like, oh my gosh.
I get it. No, it's a tremendous.
And that's the curiosity factor.
Yep.
And that you never want to lose.
Sure.
Like no matter what, you never want to lose that. And in the process of learning can be difficult.
Yeah. Guitar is not a simple instrument. I mean, it can be explained simply, and you can do things on it simply, but there's a learning curve.
Well, Segovia said the guitar is an instrument that's easy to play, but very, very difficult to play well.
Yeah.
Segovia said that, and it just holds true.
Sure.
And so the process, whenever one is sort of beaten down by the process, you have to move back towards your curiosity and say, what am I doing? How am I doing this? Because you're getting results, whether you realize it or not a lot of times. And then, you're looking at this broader place. You don't realize you've taken many, many steps towards and within this broader place. Some people want to learn to play different songs, things like that, so they can play with their friends. Other people want to go into a deeper direction. And all of it is fine.
So the reason we're having this conversation today is because Big Hit Guitars is now offering lessons. And you are our senior instructor, as it were. And we are teaching, or we're taking on students who are beginners, folks who have essentially never played the guitar before,
right, through
intermediate students, those who have played, they know chords, they know maybe some music theory, but it all seems a little intimidating perhaps,
right,
through those who are maybe even professional musicians who need to add a little. Maybe they need a recharge or a tune-up, or they want to work on one specific area of, let's say, chords or melodies or something more advanced that like you said,
they have a question.
Right. I think with my journey, if you will, you've had me unlearn some things. Not so much unlearn, but I'm not going to call them bad habits so much as you've taken what I know and those things that I can play. Blues, for example, is something that I've got a lot of experience with. And you take that and you've said to me, don't ever lose that. But here's why you're doing what you're doing. And if you learn the why, the theory,
that's process.
That's part of the process. And that's going to get me to a place where I'm going to be able to start thinking a little bit more critically about the pieces that I'm playing, so that if I hear a chord progression, I'm not just going to be like, okay, revert to only what I know, that one position, the P position, pentatonic, you know, and play that one position because it's safe. And I'm not going to hit a sour note. But you've said before that if I stay safe, then I'm going to kind of always sound the same and eventually kind of be bored with that kind of bland approach.
Well, you have to understand, you know, a player like you're a good player, but you have to broaden your understanding of the instrument,
Yeah.
how it works. You have to broaden it. That's all it is. Very simple. And that's conceptually, you understand it, you will always know it, but you will never master it. You may master levels of it, but you're always working on the conceptual nature. I mean, you may learn all the notes on the guitar.
Yeah.
That's great. But then the structuring of it, as it works within the realm of musical conversation within and of itself and other
Yeah.
people.
Improve my vocabulary
Yeah,
so I
what
can
it
speak
means.
more expressively.
Yeah, what it
Yeah.
means. You have to understand it's all about language. It's all about sound and language.
That's a good point. Sound and language. Like there's a thing in the blues and in music in general. You call it call and response
Well,
because it is a conversation. Sometimes resting and not playing is part of playing.
Well,
Phrasing.
There's 12 notes, and then there's the 13th note, which is silence,
I like that.
which is, you know, the most important note.
Yep.
It's the most important occurrence
Sure.
in music is silence.
Yep. We've talked about it being fun. You know, part of that curiosity, you know, it's fun. We're not talking about guitar lessons as drudgery, as going to work.
Absolutely not. But understanding curiosity, process, and result. You know, you do have to sit down and you do have to learn things. Otherwise, you'll never progress. You have to understand that it's going somewhere. It's fun to do.
Right.
It is very fun to do.
Sure.
Like the first tune I learned was Wipeout. And I played it over and over and over and over again. And I still play it. I still enjoy playing Wipeout.
Let's talk about that. What would a beginning student expect coming in for lessons on their first, second, third lesson? What should their expectations be?
The expectations are that we're going to work towards their goals.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I ask, what are your goals? Well, I just want to play guitar and I want to play songs.
Yeah.
And then we talk about what do you mean a song? And that's when we start to get more specific, a song, that kind of thing. With like I have a beginner student and we worked on a tune by Richie Valens called La Bamba,
Yep.
which is a simple blues progression.
Yep. Great.
And we can build on that progression, and we're building on that progression with chords, basic major chords. Guitar is a real instrument as well as a folk instrument. Both things get served, and so you have to be willing to do some reading because it makes it easier to communicate.
Reading of music.
Yeah, reading music. Yeah.
Yep. That's always been something I've been a little scared of.
It seems that guitar players, it's that folky side of guitar where people pick it up and they just play it, where there's nothing at all wrong with that.
There's a note above the lyrics, you know, G, A, C, you know.
But understanding reading is not so much notes as it is rhythms.
Okay.
Understanding rhythms, because there's 12 notes. If you can count the 12, off you go. Well,
So let me ask you this, just for instance, a scenario or a couple of scenarios. Let's start with the first one. I'm a 40 or a 50 something, and I've had a guitar for a long time, an acoustic guitar. I know some open chords, cowboy chords, some people call them. You know, the G, the D, the C, I can form them, and I have a little bit of an idea of how to strum, but you know, life got busy, career, kids, whatever, and I haven't picked it up in like 15, 20 years. But I want to get back into it because I'm curious, because I have a passion for music, and I want to be able to play. Maybe I want to go to some open mics or coffee houses and sing and play and so
your curiosity is piqued.
yeah. Is this the kind of program? Is this the kind of place I would go to?
You know, the first thing, you know, you talk about cowboy chords, you know, like a G or C, D, things like that. Those are not in one specific, those are forms. And I would teach forms. I would teach the functionality of those forms. Because each form on a guitar, you play like a G chord, for example, that's 12 chords. That's not just a G chord. That is 12 chords, because each chord on the guitar is 12 chords. Each form is 12.
Right.
12.
Yep.
And, you know, learning how to move them up and down, learning that is possible on the guitar.
Sure.
You know, that's key, because it's a big thing that people like, wow, you know, like not just a C chord, it's an E chord, but I have to change the fingering a little bit.
Right.
But, you know, it's still the same form. And then you go from there, understanding minor, flat 5, things like that, 7th chords. And all of a sudden, things are not so mysterious anymore.
Sure. And I
things
think
are not so confusing. Or actually, things start to get more mysterious, because all of a sudden you're making music, and
you
it's
see
like
the possibilities.
yeah, it's like all of a sudden you're doing things, and it's not a confusion.
Studying at Big Hit Guitars, taking guitar lessons here, will, if you do your homework and you put in the due diligence, you will become a better guitar player. You will get closer to your goals.
We take it seriously, but we take it playfully.
Yeah. There's the occasional frustration when you're trying to learn something and it's complicated, but that's no different than someone trying to learn a classical piece on piano or any instrument.
But if you continue with your curiosity and you're playing, you're working within your result, and within your result you find a glitch, okay? You go back to your process.
So if you're interested in guitar instruction, no matter where you are in your guitar journey, we'd love to have you. And you know, you can check us out. We can have a lesson, an introductory lesson, getting to know you, figure out your goals, figure out what where you want to get to, talk about the program, assess where you are, and go from there.
Yeah, thanks so much for interest in guitar and music and beauty.
Thank you very much. More info on our website, bighitguitars.com.